Hey there guys and welcome back to NIMBY Rails. Today I don't know what the plan is. Apparently my other devices are sending audio through, so apologies if there was some feedback there. Didn't realise the sound was on. Yes, so today the plan to begin with, at least, I want to build out of Newcastle. Ideally, I want to get to Edinburgh. I'm not sure I'm going to make it all the way. And then we'll look at setting up some services. I don't know where that will be. Might be more GWR, might be Chiltern. I've just started signalling the bottom of the West Coast main line, but I've only got to Tring so far, so there's a limit to what I can do there. Could do more Greater Anglia. We'll see. Depends how I'm feeling. But the first step for today is building out of Newcastle. I want to do the main line ideally, so if I switch to this, I've got to remember what I'm doing. It's a while since I've yeah, you see what that's done is it's the wrong monitor. And now it's the right monitor. Yeah, that was unexpected. Okay. Yeah, it's been a bit of time since I last streamed, and I've kind of forgotten how it all works. I'm not signalling. That's not what I'm doing. I'm building track. So I've got this 3 tracks out here, which is on the map, down here, these 3. Have I got that junction in? Yes, I have. Okay. So we have almost got to Manners Station, which would ideally be a great place to have a curved platform, but they don't exist yet. So they're currently in development. They're close to being released, I think, at least in beta. That's my understanding, at least. They're close to being released in beta, but they are not ready quite yet. So for now, this has to be a straight platform. But oh well, we can work with that. That's going to need to be a viaduct. There is no way I'm getting across there otherwise. 2 lines in there. We'll try and neaten that out a bit. And this one can come round the back. Yeah, 1.4 has curved stations. The thing is, my game hasn't installed 1.4, and I'm opted into the betas. So, go figure. I can't build curved stations because my game is still 1.3 and I can't get it to update. So yeah, that's the situation I'm in at the moment. We might set up West Coast Main Line. It depends. There's a problem is I've only signalled to Tring, so I'd have to do more signalling to be able to set them up. And the up to Tring from Euston I only did literally in the last half hour, so I have kind of burnt myself out on signalling instantly. It just occurs to me I don't actually know what I'm doing. I didn't look at the map before I started doing this. I just trusted I was doing it correctly. Let's parent that. Actually, I want it on there so that I can build all 3 at once. Hello, Sarp. How are you? Where am I going? Over there. Evening tube train. Yeah, up this way is where we're going, I think. There's some junctions. EMR, not really. I've only signalled as far north as Bedford on that line, so there's again a limit to what I can do. And that limit is literally nothing. There are no services that go as far as Bedford on EMR. I have done Thameslink along the Midland Main Line though, so that's something. We're at Newcastle. We're building the line up towards Edinburgh. We're going to see how far we get. The game did temporarily just not let me move there. That was weird. Right, there is a junction here. No transpennine. Shall I zoom out quickly? Then you can see what I've set up. I started signalling in the south, and the signals have only sort of reached that far north, except on Blackpool Trams is a separate network, Sheffield is a separate network, West Midland Metro, I've done the Stourbridge branch. Actually, a lot of Birmingham is signalled, but not out, really, so I can do the local services in Birmingham. Hello, Sam. And yeah, so signals sort of only come up as far north as Bedford, Peterborough, some in Birmingham. The Selby Hull line was a one-off a while back because I wanted to get some signalling done, and that's the bit I was building at the time. South London is complicated. It will take a while. It is no simple task to set up all of those lines and get all the junctions correct and everything. Right, what do we do? There's 3 tracks come up along here, and they sort of carry on parallel for quite a while. I've already been talking quite a bit today, so my mouth is going to start running away from me at some point. This is where they sort of separate, so I need the left-hand 2 to carry. Yeah, Selhurst is very complicated. Hello, Grace. What do you mean nothing happened, Johnny? Did you did or you didn't update to 1.4? I'm confused. That might just be me, though. I am very bad at understanding things sometimes. I'm going to continue it up there. So on the left, there's just a loop. I think you can see the map I'm looking at in the corner, can't you? Although it might not be very clear. You didn't update to 1.4? Yeah, I didn't think so. I think I saw the announcement, but I don't think it's actually available yet. I think it's still a work in progress. I'm working on Newcastle SARP. We're building the line up from Newcastle towards Edinburgh. Currently, well, goodness knows, there's a depot here. That's where I am in relation to Newcastle. I think you can almost see that. There we go. Now it's on the map. Over here is Newcastle. I forgot that a quarter of the screen is covered up by the map I'm building from. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't think 1.4's out yet. It's been announced, and it's planned to have curved stations. But I did put a junction in. Wow, my short-term memory there. Yeah, it's been announced, but I don't think it's available. Thameslink setup, yes. Right, what else? I'm not happy with that placement. That is not in the right place. That's meant to be up here, by the looks of it. So we'll pull this down. I still haven't got Transport Fever 2. It's been on my wish list for a while, but I've never quite got around to buying it because there's been other stuff I've wanted more. And I've had Transport Fever 1. So I know there's some differences, but it never felt like there were enough differences to justify buying it, especially given how expensive it is a lot of the time. It doesn't go on sale terribly often. And then there's DLC I want for train simulator and truck simulators of various areas. I say various, like Euro and America. There are only two. Can you not do that game? There we go. Yes, once I've done a bit of track building and track laying, I will set up some services. I haven't decided where I'm going to set them up yet, but we will see when it comes to it. So that'll probably be in an hour or so, maybe less. I will probably get bored of building track very quickly because I have set myself quite a big task today, and I don't anticipate completing it. Does that connect up, or is it just a separate line? Oh, it connects up the other side of the bridge. Okay. So it comes in there. I see. I'd like to say I understand, but I don't. Not totally. But it comes up there. And just move it away a little bit. There we go. If I just look coming down, there's another line out. So we'll put that in there. And that looks like it comes down to about the same point as the first loop. This in-game feels much like a much larger area than on the map, I've got to say. Don't know if I'm missing something. I don't think I am. Thameslink core is a key factor to Thameslink. I had it in for a while. My main issue with setting Thameslink up was I hadn't signalled the north branches. I hadn't done Bedford and Peterborough signalling. Mods, I have a mod list on the Steam Workshop. It is linked in the description, I believe. It might not be 100% up to date because I'm not great at keeping up with it, but it should be reasonably accurate. It might be a month or two old. My problem is I effectively have 3 mod lists. The mod list that's on the workshop that I update, the mod list of mods I actually have, and the mod list of mods that are actually active in game because they don't always get activated instantly. So there is the workshop list. It might not be perfectly up to date at all times, but the aim is I will try and keep it mostly up to date. That'll be the list that you need if I ever make this available for download, which is the plan eventually, at some point. Preferably if it gets added as a workshop system, because I don't want to have to try and find some other way to host it. In fact, I won't find some other way to host it. If it doesn't get added as a workshop system, I just won't be sharing the file, because that is not a hurdle I want to jump. Starting from King's Lynn and working clockwise is very sensible. That is a good way to go about it, because those are, for the south, some of the easier lines to set up at the start. C to C especially is a completely separate network in effect from the rest of the country. There are a couple of links, but the services don't really interact. So you can keep them completely separate. Just to clarify, I'm being completely arbitrary with my placement of these sidings. I just want to make it look vaguely like a yard. There we go. London Underground trains. Yeah, there's a couple. Which ones have I got nowadays? I lose track. What have I got? I've got 72, 92. 92 came with the game, didn't it? 72, 92, another 72, a 73, but they're not textured. 2009, D78. So I've got District, District, Hammersmith City, Metropolitan Circle, Victoria, Central, testing my knowledge now, Bakerloo, technically a Piccadilly, it's just done textured, and you could use the 90. Oh, it's 92 Northern. I get lost with the stock numbers for London Underground. There's a lot of them. Right, well that's the yard built. I guess we'll carry on north. What is the next station? That feels useful to know. Cramlington. Where is it? Further north than I expected. All the way up there. 92 is central. Yeah, I thought it was. There's 95 northern then. No, 92 is also on Waterloo and City, I know that much. Thameslink Kings. So that one will require me demonstrating with a map. So it gets a bit laggy when I zoom in on London. This could take a bit of time. The Thameslink Station. So here's Thameslink. The Thameslink Station is currently, the platforms are underneath St Pancras. That is pretty much where they are, actually, roughly. There used to be another set of Thameslink platforms over here called King's Cross Thameslink. However, because the underground station kind of joined them together, the King's Cross platforms were removed, or taken out of use. They're still there, but they're out of use. And only the St Pancras platforms are used now. Hello, T Aviation. Good to see you. I do recognise your name, which is always impressive because I'm not great with names. Right, what was I doing? I was building Cramlington Station. Didn't just get completely taken off track there. Where is? So it's. I was already zoomed in on the right place. It is up here. It is there. Cramlington. Right, now I know where I'm aiming for. There is a junction before then, so imagine it being simple. Oh, I was told last time I can just hold shift rather than double clicking. Let's try and remember that, shall I? Manchester Piccadilly. Okay. Sure, game. You do you there. So is that meant to just end? You know how sometimes the map gets updated and stuff looks weird? It's like that. I had to happen at Waterloo at one point. It might still be the case. There's a bit of track that the game doesn't want to exist at Waterloo because it was built and then the map updated. It's this stretch. Oh, it seems to be okay with it now. Fair enough. Anyway, Manchester, that's what we were doing. There's nothing set up here. There's no signal or anything. But there's the station. Manchester's one of these terminal stations that you could build without curved platforms. Except for 13 and 14, they would have been ideal with it. Undo, I'm assuming Control Z. That's what's normally undo. Yeah, that branch connects to the metro. I just didn't remember. Does it just end there, or... Let me have a look at the map. The map will tell me. Okay, no, so it doesn't end there. It does go back into a tunnel. And it comes down into Manners Metro Station. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll leave it there for now. I haven't got the China Way Metro set up yet, so... Right, this goes underneath. That makes that easier. I can just build this one first. Like so. Then we have one line off there. And that curves round. and it's got a set of points to cross over to the other line here. That's simple enough. Yeah, the straight line of track between Redhill and Ashford that no trains operate along the entirety of, except for like freight, possibly an ECS. Oh, that's a double track. Great. Guess I'm doing that again then. Yeah, the straight line of track is good. It would be good if there was a service that actually ran along that, and a fast service at that. If you were to have an express service run along from Ashford, skip Paddock Wood, skip Tunbridge, because there's passing lines at both of those. Skip all the stations and then stop at Redhill. If you were to build another chord as well, I mean, you'd have to cross on the level with the Brighton main line, so it's probably not ideal, but you could continue on along the line to Guildford. Well, oh yeah, so southeastern. So that went. So presumably that's quite major diversion then, because they'd be operating completely off their normal route if they were to run along to Redhill. Although I know Southeastern have sometimes used the international platforms at Waterloo before, so I guess it's not completely unheard of. We can look at Southminster later, but I will warn you, I may not have actually signalled it yet. I haven't done the whole of Greater Anglia, I don't think. I may have skipped parts of it. Where does this line go? Around here. I think there's this is the line they have plans to reopen in the nearish future, isn't it? Oh, what happens here? So I have plans to reopen this line, I believe. My limited knowledge of actual goings on in the railway industry. I think there's plans to reopen it. But I did actually ask you to. There we go. That can carry on. Not really sure why it went double if it's just going to go to single again there, but oh well. It's a bit close together, isn't it? That's better. Then the metro comes up and passes over the top and down the other side and round and up, and then it has a station there. What's the station called? Palmersville. I'll just put that in quickly and then we can go back to the line I was building originally. Let's move it across to a position where it's not looking weird. Palmersville. There we go. Yeah, so right. So yeah, so Southeastern will run up into. Yeah, I guess it would work as a diversion up to Charing Cross, and presumably Cannon. Well, no, they can't really get to Cannon Street. Normally, Southern will operate a train into Victoria from Reigate and a train from Redhill to Tunbridge, Tube Train Boy, I believe. Although I would not rule out that having changed to a one direct service from Reigate to Tunbridge, especially with the engineering works going on the Brighton main line over the next few weeks. It did look like there were plans to just connect it up as one service, presumably to keep the terminating trains out of the way at Redhill, because Redhill's suddenly going to get a lot busier. So we'll bring this line up to Cramlington, and then we'll consider how far north we've got and whether this is worth continuing with right now. The track is still quite a way ahead of the signalling, but the signalling does take quite a bit of time and is not the most enjoyable. That's not got nearly as far north as I thought I had. Right. What's the next stop? Morpeth. Well, we can go to Morpeth. Then at least we've got to the end of Northern's regular service, which I guess is something. Yeah, it is an idea. If you can see the map, I don't know how well it shows up. I'll build the main line up to Morpeth and Pegswood, because Pegswood's not far. And we'll get the sort of freight-only and diversionary route lines in. Just so that they're there. And then we'll stop track building for today. So if I look at tracks, which occurs to me I haven't looked at yet today. That's what we've built so far. So it is just double track up to Morpeth and Pegswood, and maybe I'll look at doing the passing loops, we'll see. So, Morpeth. Down here. What are we looking for? There, I guess. Looks about right. Yeah, I guess I do need to consider a way to terminate trains here, don't I? If trains terminate here, you'd logically think there's a way for them to do that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know enough about the line to know how they'd do that. Just that they do. I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's get the line up here first, because that's a bit of a way to go again. Yeah, I imagine there is a turn-back siding. It's just a matter of working out where said turn-back siding is, because the maps aren't being the most useful. Okay, that was deceptive. That made it very much look like it was going to want to go on the other side of that road. So, come up here and wrap round, and should be reaching Morpeth shortly, I believe. Okay, I see how it is. I'll use a viaduct then, game. Continue on. I am looking forward to curved stations, yes. They will be such a game changer. Although I've already decided I'm not planning to go back and change any stations immediately. I might get round to it eventually, but not right this second, because I want to carry on building rather than going back and changing a load of stuff again. Could I build, please, game? Thank you. Buildings. I haven't seen as much about the buildings. The curved stations are the main thing I picked up on, but I've been incredibly busy this last week or so. Well, several weeks really. And I haven't had a lot of time to keep up on that sort of thing. That's the main reason I'm streaming today, is because I haven't had time to record. Right, let's connect that. Yeah, should have seen that one coming. Ground level, and there we go. What are we looking at? The 2021 version for the train sim Chatham Main Line. Yes, I have. There's an awful lot to that route, isn't there? I am interested. The problem is, I have already got both previous versions of the Chatham Main Line, and so couldn't really justify the cost. Also, yeah, I just can't justify the cost straight off. I make a point of trying to avoid buying DLC full price, especially Train Sim DLC, or for anything more than anything less than 50% off. Words. That's kind of what I mean, right? It needs to be more than 50% off for me to actually buy it. Aha! Here's the this looks like it will be the turn back siding. This one. I think that's where they turn back. Then there's another siding over here. That's probably not where they turn back. What else? Hello, Osk. Osik. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. That's a lot of consonants in a row, and I'm not really sure what to do with them. Osik. We'll go with that for now. As a turn back, there's loops on the main line. Does it turn around in one of the loops? Feels unlikely. I mean, I've never been to this part. Well, I have actually, but not by train. I've driven past this part of the country on multiple occasions. I've not been on the train here. So I wouldn't be able to say for certain either way, but we'll pull that down. Then there's a loop from next to this road, and that wraps around to yeah, pronunciation of anything that I don't instantly recognise is an interesting one. I can do a couple of Welsh places, but only because I've been there on several occasions and heard them said by locals several times. I will butcher Scottish pronunciations now we're there. I did butcher Welsh pronunciations when I was building that area, for the most part. And if I ever go into any other country that's not native English speaking, I will struggle there too. So it's an interesting time. That's a double track, but not for too massively long. So I won't bother building it as double track. I'll just build it as 2 singles because that'll be easier. It's only for like that long that it's double, so I can't do that. Clanfair, Pwlgwini, Gilchockery, Chwintrob, Chwilantisiliogogoch. There you go. There's my best attempt. How did I do? Just delete that. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted, game. Exactly that. Oh, don't do that. There is currently a rather loud conversation going on outside my door, so apologies if that picks up on my bike. It's quite distracting for me at the moment. That's great. What are we doing? Come off here. It's not horrible. Oh, that is high praise indeed for for pronouncing Landfair PG. The siding on the right after the station. So what I would have assumed was a down goods loop. Or no, I guess up goods loop. I would have assumed that was the up goods loop. But okay. I don't know if you can see my mouse on the map. Looks like you can. Just about. Or that siding, because that's where I thought they were using it. Oh, you can't see this, can you? Sorry, let me move that over here. That siding. Yeah, that's where I thought they'd turn around. That makes sense. That makes logical sense as a place to turn around. Right, what was I doing? Pegswood, which is just up here. Maybe. It's disappeared from the map, but it is here. I promise. So, Pegswood. That can come down here. And we'll just connect the line up to it quickly. And then I have to go and deal with this line. So, where does it go? Single track for quite a way. If I can go and find the location of that junction, it should be there, I guess. If I can pull that up through here, then convert to single track, put the little split in, and then it's single track all the way to where I was before. That seems like the way to do it. There we go. There's also a double track split off up here. And who knows where that goes. Quite a way though by the looks of it. So I think these all used to be passenger lines and they're still being used to move freight around. It's unusual that they've all still stayed open as double track, but I guess that makes it easier to reopen them for passenger services in the future. So it was one of these that was planned to be reopened, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was called. But there was one around Newcastle I know was planned to be reopened. I assume it's one of these lines. Or possibly more than one of these lines. Where does this go? Double track to about there. Well, that's just a mess. What is that? What's going on there? Right, double track along here, and that comes around the corner to where it crosses the road. So there. And then carries on as a single track. There's a little set of points just to join down to one track. And obviously we need the other side of this triangle to be connected up. Yeah, more services will be done at some point today. When I finish building this bit of track that I want to get done. So, okay, this comes down to a wharf. Fair enough. This will be why this sort of line was kept open, to keep access to the wharfs. Yeah, that'll do. There's no passenger services going to come down here, so it doesn't need to be terribly accurate. There you go. It's on the wharf. What more do you want? There's technically one that crosses the road here and comes down the other side, but I might not bother with that. Continuing up north, I it looks like it stays double track for a while. Of course, there's yet another line that doesn't quite connect. It comes off the main line, then there's a gap, then there's a bit of track that remains but isn't connected to anything at either end. Too expensive to rip the track up, I guess. And we come around the double track, follows round past Northumberland Museum, and continues up. Okay, that's quite a way to go. That's what we've done so far. Not nothing. I've actually done a reasonable amount. Right, across the river. Round here. And up. And then I believe we turn to the right here. So round we go. There's the Northumberland Museum. And then we turn up. There's a disused line, removed line going off down. So up we go. We keep right at the next junction. Where by junction I mean lake. Obviously. And then just like a loop at Lynmouth Power Station. Lynmouth? Yeah, I would pronounce that Lynmouth. Whether it is pronounced Lynmouth is a different matter. And that one looks like it just comes off around the other side of the lake. It feels very much like it's put a lake there for lake's sake rather than anything else. And down into what looks like it's probably just an industry area here. There we go. Done. Right, down then from Bedlington Station, which, going to hazard a guess, there are no stations at anymore. That took a long time for me to get out. Yeah, I imagine there used to be a station here. There's a couple of sidings. The Furnace Way sidings. We could put those in, I guess. No reason not to. There's only a couple of them. Won't take long. I might just go with 2. It's easier than a full 3. That looks horrible, so I'm going to fix it. There we go. That's the second, and we have a crossover both ways. One like that, and one back here. That will need some adjustment. There we go. Right. I'm going to temporarily turn off the overlay because it started to get in the way of seeing stuff. So we are heading down through Bedside. So let me have a look at my map quickly. It'd be good if I could make the overlay smaller or move it easily while I'm streaming. If I put it back on, can I? Oh, I can. I could put it up there then. Look at that. Look at me learning how to do this. So I could put the overlay up there. Is it more or less useful up there, do you reckon? I guess we'll see. Where does this line go? We stay double track down to South Newsham Road. Or Newsham? I guess it could be either, which I believe is that one. So, double track to there. Let's run up here to cross that road. And then it should connect. There we go. And it goes down to single track, which isn't ideal. I don't mind building in either double or single track, but when I have to do a transition between the two, it always ends up looking terrible. So, single track. As far as I'm aware, there's not a lot left. Yeah, it's just connecting this thing, and does it stays single all the way by the looks of it? So it's just connecting this track up now. So that shouldn't take too long. So we'll just connect this up, and then we can look at putting some services in. So around the bend, down here. Across the road. Not perfectly placed, but oh well. Through that suburb or town. They probably would not appreciate being told they live in a suburb, I would imagine. And round and down here to there. Done. Build. Okay, job done. Next step. Setting up some services. Because why not? That was 45 minutes of route building. So, I think the best option... What do I think the best option is? Well, I was going to... No, Thameslink doesn't go through Clapham Junction. I was going to look at setting... someone asked. Who asked? Someone asked to see some signalling that may or may not exist. Who was it? Tube Train Boy. He asked to see Southminster. Cool. Yeah, that's down here. So, have I signalled it? There's the question. I've signalled Billericay. I've signalled Wickford. So I would suggest that means I probably have signalled Southminster. So it's single track up through Southwood and Ferrers. Passing loop at North Fambridge. So just a what do you call them? Path signal at either end of the loop, and a police, and then some one-way signals to make sure trains go the right way through the loop. And then it's single track all the way to Southminster. A signal on approach. No, not even a signal on approach. I guess there's only one platform, so no signal on approach. A signal out, though, and signals in the sidings. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? Have I done a terrible job of explaining that? I reckon probably the latter. I'm just going to turn off the overlay quickly so I can load up a page that I will need. So, I think the best service is to set up, because I can do the entire franchise without adding any more signals. And that's always a bonus. It's going to be Chiltern. So, I'm just going to leave the overlay off, honestly, because I've just realised quite how much of the screen is going to be taken up when I start setting up the lines. And it's not worth it. It's not worth the overlay. So Chiltern is a sort of very... It's not a pale blue, is it? It's a sort of a darker blue, like that. Let's go with that. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I may come back and change it, but we'll stick with that for now. Marylebone to Moore Street. Set my prices and my default timings of a minute at every station, and this runs hourly. What I do want to check is number of trains, number of platforms. I think Marylebone has 6, but I'm just going to double check that. It does have 6 platforms. Good. So there's what are we looking at? 2 to Birmingham, different stations in Birmingham. 2 to Oxford. Half to Banbury, half to Stratford-upon-Avon, half to Birmingham Moore Street. Oh no, that Birmingham Moore Street half doesn't run from Marylebone. So 2, 4, 5. Then 3 to local services from Marylebone and 2 to Aylesbury area. So I'm seeing 1 platform for Birmingham, 1 platform for Oxford, 1 platform for Aylesbury, 1 platform for Banbury and Stratford, 1 platform for Gerrard's Cross and High Wycombe, and 1 platform for Aylesbury via Prince's Risborough. Thameslink through Streatham Common? Maybe? There's a lot of Streathams. Let me have a look at the map. I will also turn the overlay on so you can see. Streatham Common is that one. Not normally is what I'm going to say. It probably does in disruption. I would imagine that Selhurst, Streatham Common, and then into Streatham is signed as a diversionary route, avoiding London Bridge to get up to the Thameslink core. That seems like it would be a sensible diversionary route, but no, not in regular service. So back to Chiltern. I worked out how I wanted to allocate the 6 platforms. Let's turn the overlay off again so it's out of the way. I'm going to take the rightmost platform for Birmingham services. So first service is High Wycombe is the first stop. That's bit of a distance. There we go. And High Wycombe all the way back. Banbury. That is also quite a way. There we go. All the way up here. I'll just go through the middle too. That seems sensible. Leamington Spa, Warwick Parkway, and Solihull. Leamington Spa. That's Warwick. Next one's Warwick Parkway. Not Hatton. So that's Dorridge. Which one of these is Solihull? That's Acots Green. Oulton. There's Solihull. I knew it was around here somewhere. And then into Moore Street. High Brock. Have I pronounced that right? I think I have. Unless it's Broch, which I guess it could be. And then into there. So, I want that to run every hour, which I've already set up. This is run by, if I can get a Class 68 hauled train, which I highly doubt. I highly doubt that is a train I have. But if it is, that would be great. Let's see, I've got a couple of loco hauled, I think. I've got a Class 37 loco hauled. I've got Class 90. I might end up using the Clubman, though, of which I've got multiple, apparently. It's not looking like I'm going to have... Yeah, it would be in there. No, I don't have a class 68. Oh well, guess we're using a clubman then. That's the other train that runs on this route, so it's not unreasonable. Now, which one do I use? Do I use the new one or the old one? The new one looks a bit more realistic, doesn't it? They probably run quite lengthy trains up here. If you're going to replace because the 68s pull 6 coaches, so you probably want a 3+3. So I just run a 2+2+2. I you could get a 3+2, a 5 car, but we'll run a 3+3. I guess I could vary them as well, couldn't I? I'm going to need several. Birmingham Wall Street. Could you, like, sit around for, I don't know, 15 minutes? Just to shrink the amount of time you're waiting around at Marylebone. I'm going to need 5 trains for this. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and just a single 4-car unit. There we go. St Pancras to Brighton. Let me go back to my map. The map is useful. Where's the overlay? Here we go. St Pancras, Farringdon, City Thameslink, Blackfriars, London Bridge, East Croydon. I'd suggest it probably doesn't stop at South Croydon or Purley if you're going to Brighton. Probably next stop is Gatwick Airport. It might do a couple of those stops. Might do Redhill, for example. I don't know. I don't know the exact stopping pattern. Could stop at all of the stations. I highly doubt it stops at all of the stations. They also like changing their service pattern, so there's no telling really. Right, that's the first line in. I could open that. I guess I'll open that. While I set up Snow Hill as the other Birmingham route. Shilton, Marylebone to... Okay, I'm not sure on Snow Hill's 3-letter code. BSH? I must start with a B, right? That doesn't look right. That doesn't look right, but I don't know what else it would be. 1 minute it stops, and hourly service. Back down to Marylebone. Or Marylebone, if you want to get it wrong. Also out of platform 1. Got a platform share. Because I didn't check that it took the right route, and it doesn't. Let's fix that then. On your way up to High Wycombe, I think you're meant to come round here. But actually, having said that, I'm wrong. Okay. The game got it right. Which isn't a statement I'd normally find myself saying. Because it is a rarity. But apparently in this case, the game got it right. So there you go. It probably got the rest of it right. It would have been hard pushed to get it wrong. So, first stop, Bicester North. Instead of High Wycombe. Okay, yeah, that's allowed. Bicester North. Banbury. West Ruislip, yeah, it looked right. This line isn't right, but that's because of how it's trying to turn around. And apparently I have a lack of one-way signals. We'll double check it in a second once I've finished setting up the line, because I think that's confusing it. Leamington Spa. Warwick Park. Oh, no, Warwick first, then Warwick Parkway. Then Dorridge, Solihull, and Moore Street. Okay, I'm not 100% on. Presumably, it doesn't use the outer platform. Would be my guess. If anyone can shed some light on the platform allocations at Dorridge, that would be useful. Through Tyseley. Yeah, what I'm not convinced by is whether it's right at Tyseley. Actually, what I'm not convinced by is whether I actually did any signalling at Tyseley. Into Snow Hill. I think I have to use the middle platform because it's the only one I've got set up for bidirectional operation. So, let's buy a train. Let's increase Snow Hill's dwell time to 5 minutes. I'm not going to go any longer. Maybe 8. Yeah, that feels right. Okay, again, I'm going to need 5 trains. So that was 1. Then we'll get 2 of these. And how long can we go? 4 plus 2? 3 plus 2 plus 2? I highly doubt Chiltern operate trains this long. The longest I've seen is a 3 plus 3. Okay, full service. And then I will look at the lines and see if it's actually right. I am not convinced that that is right. The reason I'm not convinced is because it's not right. I need to double check which platforms they use at Tyseley. I think it's the northern 2. But I will just give real-time trains a quick check. Tyseley. Search. Chiltern to Moore Street uses 2. Chiltern to Marylebone uses 1. Yeah, whereas trains to Kidderminster and Whitlock's End, which have to use 3 and 4, use 3 and 4. So they should be using 1 and 2. So it's the southbound is going through the wrong platform. If I were to just put a via in there, in that place in the schedule, does that move it appropriately? Is that where I'd like you to cross over? I think it is. Yeah, I think it's too late after that. Then I need to do that in the other one as well. So that's after Moore Street. You're meant to come across there to there. Okay, through Tyseley and down. Tracks occupied and reserved. Yeah, that's just because they will try to get into the station. Right, let's turn this on. So, looks like they all come down through the right place at Hatton. That's something. Warwick, Leamington Spa, they use the platform. I mean, they kind of have to. Banbury. Just come down through the middle 2 lines, I imagine. Yeah, they're running fine. All the way down. So, we wanted to check West Ruislip. One of those is not running correctly. Why not? Are you running... How far are you running wrong line then? It must be from before High Wycombe. Oh no, it's running right line there. Oh, wrong line at High Wycombe. Oh, it's using a crossover there. Very nice. What's even better is it could have crossed over out if it wanted to. It chose not to. That's Warwick, Leamington Spa, Banbury, Bicester North, then a waypoint there. Now, do you stay on your own separate line? Yes, you do. Thank you very much. Through West Ruislip? Yeah, I think this is correct through West Ruislip. The northbound trains run through the platform, the southbounds have a dedicated line. And then it's the other way round at South Ruislip. The northbounds have a dedicated line and the southbounds run through the platform. Cool. Presumably we are running separate tracks through there, yeah. And through the tunnel, over the bridge, through the tunnel. And we want to cross over at the last minute at Marylebone. Which they do appear to be doing. That's good. It's unusual that stuff works as I expect. So, that's the Birmingham services. Now for the Oxford services. Yes, game, I did click that button. Thank you. Chiltern. Marylebone to Oxford A. There's two services and there's no other way to distinguish them, so in this case I have to use A and B. I try and avoid it. Has anyone found out if, by the way, if I got the Snow Hill 3-letter code? Is it CRS code, correct? Because I haven't got a clue. Out of there. First stop, High Wycombe, Oxford bound only. Cool. Which means on the way back I'm going to need to go through that waypoint. Next stop, Bicester Village. There we go. And then Oxford Parkway. And then Oxford. I think we have two terminating platforms. They get a dedicated platform at Oxford each. They're only hourly services, which is quite useful. It means they can sit around at Oxford as long as they like. So we'll send a 2+2 up, at least, if nothing else. How long do we want at Oxford? I'm tempted to give them quite a while here. The problem is if I could give them 55 minutes, it would technically work. BSW, okay. I guess that makes sense. Let's just change that while I remember then. The option is a really short turnaround at Oxford, which doesn't justify them having their own dedicated platforms. Or a really long turnaround at Oxford and only just managing to get the turnaround to a suitable time at Marylebone. I guess they'll be delayed, won't they? There's no way they're going to run on time. That'll need 4 trains, so I'll get another of those, and then I'll get a 3-car, and we'll have 1 5-car, shall we? There we go. That can be a full service, and then we will also have Chiltern, Marylebone to Oxford B. That didn't work. My keyboard appears to be getting a bit unresponsive. There is where I want it, thank you. No, closed. I am clearly getting a little bit tired because I just clicked the wrong button 5 times in a row. So we'll see how long this lasts. Back down to London. Oh, can I can I turn that menu off now? Thank you. There we go. Back down to London. Platform 2. This one does High Wycombe London bound only. Hadnam and Tame Parkway. And then we will have Mr. Village. I'm not happy about that ordering. Islip Limited. Well, you're getting an hourly service now. What an upgrade. Oxford Parkway and into Oxford. Just to double check, how are they running out of there? How are they doing? Well, I mean, that's kind of what I'd expect, I guess. There's no point in switching all the way over to the outer track, given it's just going to switch over to the right again. So that seems sensible to me. So it does run wrong line there quite a bit, but I have got the signalling set up for that to work, so that's fine. Do you go through the right platform at High Wycombe? Yes, you do. Do you work at West Ruislip? Yes, you do. Do you work at South Ruislip? Yes, you do. Gonna guess you probably work the entire length of the line then. Those are the problem points. So we will have a 4-car. What else? I need to change the dwell time. That's something that needs to happen. Oxford, would you like to sit around for like 55 minutes? Or you could only sit around for 50 actually and still make it back at a reasonable time. Yes, then more trains. I'm going to need another 3. So we will have a 2+2. And we will have a 3-car. And we will have a 2-car. Just a bit of variety. I didn't set that line to actually run. Full service. We're going to end up with some queues while they sort of filter themselves out and everything into the correct order. What it may take is some deleting of, well, not deleting of trains, you know what I mean, intervening. I'll just get through all the next stop High Wycombe trains, which might be all the ones we have left actually. Oh, there we go. Next stop Hadnam and Tame Parkway. So that's one of the other routes, so at least they're a bit in order, albeit not much. Intriguing. Who's on the wrong line? You are. What route are you? What route? That route. I went to Oxford A. I think I clicked on the wrong train. You! What route are you? I went to Oxford A. There is no reason you should be going that way. Not even the line tells you to. I mean, that train, sure. That is the right line. Okay. Where are you going? Next stop, Marylebone. Where are we? Well, we've just left High Wycombe. I mean, you're on the wrong line. There's no doubt about it. Are you just... Right, you know what it is? It's this new signalling system, or routing system, that allows the trains to go wherever they want, between stations if they think it will be quicker. What I've clearly not considered is making sure I've actually got the right one-way arrows in. Right. Intervene. Intervene. Off you go. Oh, you've instantly crashed. Intervene. Don't do it again. Give the train a good telling off. Now that there's a one-way arrow in there, they shouldn't go the wrong way, fingers crossed. So, we could do these sort of long-distance stoppers, but I think what we will do instead is the Aylesbury services quickly. I think that will be fun. I'm also going to slow down the game again, so that I don't completely lag out while trying to do it. So we have Chiltern Marylebone to Aylesbury. Probably AYB. Have a look. I will have a look. AYS, I was wrong. Yeah, in theory, the trains being able to route themselves, whatever they think will be the quickest route, is great for multi-track lines, where there's multiple tracks in each direction. But if it's just a two-track line and you've forgotten to put some one-way signals in, it can mess everything up. Right, I think I was going to put these right over on the left. First stop is Harrow on the Hill, which is up here. Then Rickmansworth, up here. Trying to nick passengers off the Metropolitan line. Which do you reckon they're going to choose? The nice, comfy, air-conditioned S-Stock, or the bumpy diesel 165s? Through Amersham. Great Bissenden. Wendover. Stoke Mandeville. And terminating at Aylesbury. Now the question is, got these two tracks. So the train up to Aylesbury Vale Parkway has to use those two platforms at the top. The train into Aylesbury from Princes Risborough can use this bottom platform. This train has to terminate in a platform that the Aylesbury Vale Parkway train has to use. There is no way about it. So I'll put it in there, and we'll try and have a shortish dwell. Maybe 5 minutes or so. We'll see how that works at the other end. This can be operated by 168s. I've typically only seen 165s along here. They have to be fitted with tripcocks to work on the London Underground infrastructure. Problem I'm seeing, I don't have the 165. Does it exist? Oh no, I do have the 165. There we go. It's got a BR on the front, so it's in a completely different place in the list. Now, dash O, dash 1, or dash 2. No, that's a 166. Dash O or dash 1. I will have a look at its wiki page quickly and see. Chiltern operate dash O's. GWR operate dash 1s. Dash O's, and there's more than twice as many two cars than 3 cars. But I'll run a 3 car. And what are we looking at? It's only hourly, that's not long enough, but I don't want a too long dwell up here at Aylesbury. And again, I guess it's only hourly, so 20 minutes would work. I might take it up to 22. So that feels fine. 22, so we need 3 trains. I might just... I don't think a 2-car is reasonable, really. So we'll run 2 3s and a 4. We'll turn it on. And then create the partner line Marylebone to Aylesbury Vale Parkway, which does exactly the same stopping pattern but adds Aylesbury Vale Parkway at the end. 1 hour. So down to the bottom. Into Marylebone. Marylebone. There we go. Up to Harrow on the Hill. And then we just follow the line. Follow the line. Follow the line. All the way up to Rickmansworth. Rickmansworth, Rickmansworth, Rickmansworth. Here we go. Ah, yep, I did do that. I did put the stations in the wrong order. No wonder it looked a mess. That's the problem with adding both directions at a station at once. You have to be careful not to put them in the wrong order. Past the Chesham branch. Through Amersham. Welcome back, tube train boy. What's next? Where is next? Great Missenden. And Wendover. What would be useful, and what may exist, and I just didn't bother looking for, is a copy line button. I could have copied the last line and then just added the one station on the end. Maybe it exists. Maybe it doesn't exist. I don't know. Right, what have we got here? So, I guess I need a train. That's where I should start. We will get a train. We will then see, I can up this however much I want. If I were to make it be 55 minutes, what would that do? Not enough there. Okay, in which case I can't really up this because I need a reasonable turnaround at the other end. That'll do. So, what do we have? We need 3 trains to operate it. I will get 2 of those sorted. I need to set it to full. And that's Aylesbury done that side. Now, how was I going to split up the other services? So I've got 3 hourlies and 2 half-hourlies. So the half-hourlies can share a platform. Gerald's Cross to High Wycombe can share a platform. And the other Aylesbury service can have its own platform. Yeah, so we'll do the final Aylesbury service quickly. So this is actually Aylesbury via Harrow. I highly doubt it's HRW. Harrow. It's HOH. Collision? That's not good. Go to train. Why are we having collisions? Where are we? Vista. Is it, perchance, because of a lack of one-way arrows? If I were to add some more of these in... hadn't realised this would be such an issue. Right, let's get rid of this one then, because it's the one that's on the wrong line, so it is in the wrong. What do you mean, what services can I regulate at the other end? I've got them. I'm trying to limit platform sharing as much as possible. Like the half hourlies, it makes sense to have platform share because, oh no, the twice hourlies, it makes sense to have platform share because the words. What words? I've just completely lost what I was saying. Yeah, the one every 2 hours trains, it makes sense to have share platform because they'll be in so infrequently, and it doesn't feel too weird to have the two short distance commuter services share a platform. I've actually got a good number of platforms, that's the thing. I'm not short on platforms. So, we will have... also, why don't I use the code system? Because that's an extra thing to type in that I can't bother to deal with, mainly. Aylesbury via... I mean, I guess High Wycombe is the best place to go via there, isn't it? I think they technically use via Princess Risborough, but High Wycombe is the bigger place. So, 1 minute and hourly. Come out of platform 5. First stop is Gerald's Cross, which is there. After Gerald's Cross, we have Sea Green and Jordan's. Beaconsfield. High Wycombe. Yeah, that's fine. That'll just be it's struggling to spawn in the station because there's already a train waiting to depart, waiting for the correct interval. So that doesn't cause an issue. Princess Risborough, I'm going to hazard a guess. It's going to need to be bi-directional through this platform. Just because it can't get onto the Monks Risborough and Little Kimble branch otherwise. Little Kimble, Aylesbury, and then I forgot to do these both ways, so I have to come back down and do them. Little Kimble, Monks Risborough. And then I come back down, off the branch, through that platform, and then I just need to make sure it splits across properly, which it does appear to, so that's always something. So, this will get 165s again, I reckon. Doesn't strictly speaking have to be, but I'm going to make it that way. You use this platform on your own, and you use the platform at the other end on your own as well. So actually, it doesn't really matter how long you dwell either place. But I'll give you 45 minutes at either end. So why not? Yes. So that means I then 4 trains, which is kind of what I was aiming for. So more trains is good trains. There we go. In real life, more trains is bad trains. You want less trains because it's cheaper. But in game... Oh, I never set up the... I guess I didn't do a lot of GWR, did I? A lot of GWR's not been done, so no wonder the branch is not set up. Full. That line will not have any problems because it's got a dedicated platform at both ends. Right, next stop. Oh, next line. Chiltern. Let's do to Gerald's Cross first. Marylebone to... Like I know what the 3-letter code for Gerald's Cross is. GER. I could have guessed that one. Turns out. Yeah, I might set up the GWR branches once I'm done with Chiltern. There's not a lot of this left, so... And it'd be good to finish an entire company at once. Just get it out of the way, never have to come back to it. A lot of GWR is actually missing. Basically, none of the high-speed lines are done on GWR. None of the long-distance services. I did some of the local services from Paddington. I did the local services around Bristol. But none of the Paddington to Cornwall or Wales services are really in. So there's still a lot to go with GWR. It's not a quick job to finish. Right. What are we doing? What platform do I want to come out of this time? Probably 4. First stop is Wembley Stadium. I guess it had to happen eventually, didn't it? Wembley Stadium, Sudbury and Harrow Road, Sudbury Hill Harrow. Actually, Sudbury Harrow Road gets a limited service, but it's now getting a regular hourly service, so that's an improvement for it. Northolt Park? Yes. I'm going to assume it stops at South Ruislip. It doesn't. It goes straight to West Ruislip. Then Denham. Denham Golf Club, London bound only. Forbid you stop at Denham Golf Club northbound. And then Gerald's Cross. And we go into the reversing siding. So that's fine. The problem we're going to have with this is I can add an interval at this end, but I'm going to run this with 165s, I think. The High Wycombe one I might run with 168s, but this one will be 165s. Yeah, I can add a dwell at this end, but it's a bit difficult too. So if I can avoid it, I will. That's going to be a... Actually, this runs 2 hourly, doesn't it? God, I only need 1 train to run this. Okay, get rid of one of them then. This goes to Gerald's Cross. I'll get rid of that train. Yeah, if it only runs 2 hourly, that'll finish a round trip. Next train will be out 2 hours. So that will be a, 40-minute dwell. Which will be fine, provided the other train also dwells for less than an hour, which it should. Extension to Kidderminster, I'm not going to bother with, because it's like 2 trains a day now, at the moment. Same with the parliamentary services. I'm not going to bother with the service down to Oxford from Banbury, and I'm not going to bother with the Greenford branch service. They'll both be just done by GWR. It's not worth the effort implementing irregular, rare services. Now, on the other hand, Denton on the Stockport to Staley Bridge, that line, that might get its parliamentary 1 a week service, but I've got to find somewhere to put the train for however many hours. So we'll see. Yeah, that feels fine. That'll be a reasonable turnaround. So I can set that line to open, and then the other Chiltern Marylebone to High Wycombe. There we go. Set the prices. Set the dwell. Set the interval. You know what I didn't do is I didn't set the interval on the other one. These are hourly. I've got this completely wrong. These are hourly services. The other ones are 2 hourly. Okay. Sorry. My bad, service. You will need 2 trains. And as such, you will need to dwell at Gerald's Cross. Let's pause it while I set this up then. You will need to dwell there. For like literally 30 minutes. Well, maybe not quite that long. 20 minutes? 20 minutes will do. Hello, Adam. How are you? We're setting up Chiltern services at the moment. I had none before today. I've now got most of them. Yeah, I'll also need a second train, I guess, then, won't I? We'll run a 2-car. Sure. Looks fine. I've got the colour right. I've got the timings right. Okay, Marylebone. Platform 4. That is the plan. Platform 4. Oh, I can also click play again, can't I? Wembley Stadium is here. Then South Ruislip. And that's on the uses that fly over. Or I guess, no, dive under. Then skips West Ruislip, this one. Go figure. Only 1 train an hour at West Ruislip, and only 1 train an hour at South Ruislip, and all the same train. Hello, Trooper Laws. How are you? So after South Ruislip, we go to Gerald's Cross. And then we go to Beaconsfield. What does Denver Golf Club in the other direction, then? Oh, the Banbury and Stratford services do it to make an hourly service. Okay. Well, so when it comes to the Ruislip trains, I understand not wanting the same train to stop at both, because you might as well use the central line there. You don't want passengers getting on locally to do that one hop. Beaconsfield, and then we terminate at High Wycombe. I think I will probably use the 168s for this, which means I have to go back and find them again. 168. Let's put a 3-car on it to start with. What have we got then? That is not long enough at High Wycombe. 20 minutes. That'll do. And then I need 1 more train. So we'll put a 2+2. Sorted. And the line can open. I've missed an entire conversation. Let me have a look quickly. All the tube lines have their own quirks. They all have things that make them interesting. So I've done those services. You can't see the screen I'm looking at the moment, but that'll be okay. I'll be back onto the game in a second. It's just the 3 1 every 2 hour services left, so they should be relatively pain-free to set up. We shall start with Marylebone to Banbury. Set the pricing. We want a station dwell of 1 minute. The game, it's not got a great performance when I hover over London. I've chosen a really bad place to try and set up the route. Yeah, sandbox is the way to go with this game. Money is not a thing. Yeah, this was always going to happen. This will disappear with time. it's partly down to the platform sharing and the fact that I'd sent all the trains out for one route and then all the trains to the other route on the same platform. So they will end up like this, but they will eventually even out a service. So out of there. What are we doing? Denham Golf Club will be the first stop. So Denham, and only Banbury bound. Then Gerrard's Cross, Beaconsfield. We did see a Greens and Jordan then, because the High Wycombe stopper didn't do it. Oh, the Aylesbury stopper did it. Okay, so it does get an hourly service. You can get Steam on Mac, just not every game has Mac support, and NIMBY Rails doesn't have Mac support, I don't think. It doesn't terribly surprise me that it doesn't. High Wycombe, yeah, supporting multiple operating systems just takes a lot of effort that one developer probably doesn't have time to manage. Also, you can't bug fix if you don't have a device running that operating system. High Wycombe, Princes Risborough, Hadham and Tame Parkway. Up here we go, Princes Risborough. Hadham and Tame Parkway. Then Bicester North. And finally, Banbury, where this train terminates. I'm going to put it in that platform. And yeah, I mean, that's not an ideal length I have to go to switch over. Is that really the first time it happens? Well, fair enough. Guess we're doing it. This runs every 2 hours. It's going to run with these trains. So I run a 3+2 to begin with. Every 2 hours. That is a really badly long dwell time. So let's see about giving it like 45 minutes at... Oh, well, I guess it can have 30 minutes, can't it? There we go. Now it's only got a 30-minute dwell time at the other end. Yeah, probably Shenfield. That's the other end of Crossrail. Crossrail is perp. Right, Banbury. So I need 2 trains to operate this. I've got 1, so let's just get 1 more. There we go. Set it to full. And the last service out of Marylebone, second to last Chiltern service overall. Chiltern, Marylebone to... That's... that was the Stratford London 3-letter station code. Stratford upon Avon is different. SAV. SAV. 10.05. Class 90 is not the ones that used to operate the loco-hauled passenger stock on that line, or was that Class 91? I get confused. Oh, I'm in France now. There's a statement. Right, Marylebone, hello. Can we get in? Denham Golf Club, Stratford bound only. That will be here. Then Gerald's Cross, Beaconsfield. High Wycombe. Prince's Risborough. Hadnam and Tame Parkway. Bicester North. So realistically, what's going on here is there's an hourly service to Banbury and alternate trains are extended to Stratford. There's my quick summary of what's actually going on. I'm assuming Banbury is the first stop after Bicester North. No, this train is awkward and does King Sutton as well. The only one that does it. Just wants to play with me. Is the only one that does it, right? Yeah, it's the only train that stops at King Sutton on Chiltern, so 1 every 2 hours. To be fair, though, the GWR service to Banbury is only 1 every 2 hours, so King Sutton gets an hourly service. Alternates whether it's going to Oxford or Marylebone. So that was Banbury. Leamington Spa. Leamington Spa. Then Warwick. Skip Warwick Parkway. Hatton. Which I think I have to go through that platform both directions for. Marylebone to Oxford we did earlier. Right, what am I... Oh, I've missed a lot. I'll get to that in a second. I'm just going to finish setting this route up first. Claverdon is limited, but, now you get a once every 2 hours service. Beerley, limited. You get a once every 2 hourly service. Claverdon and Beerley are operated by West Midlands typically, aren't they? And it's a special service for Chiltern. Is that right? Is that a thing that's the case? If so, I'll take them out of this. Hatton. Wilmcote. I can do that. Stratford upon Avon Parkway. And Stratford. Okay, what have I missed? Let me have a look. That's quite a lot. 801, or effectively the IET, all of the 800s, they all look the same. Chiltern doesn't go to Marylebone. One Chiltern service doesn't go to Marylebone. Chiltern operate a once every 2 hours Leamington Spa to Birmingham Moor Street stopper, by which I mean it stops at Warwick, Hatton, Lapworth, Dorridge and Solihull, so it's not much of a stopper, but at one point during the pandemic they did only operate some shuttles to Leamington from Stratford as well, I think, but they now operate through again. Class 91 is the Intercity 225, so it is 91 I was thinking of then, not the 90. Oh no, it's not. No, if 91 is Intercity 225, that's East Coast Main Line. So what operated the loco hauled stock up to Dorridge? The mystery continues. Favourite station's Burnley Arms. It's an interesting choice. It's not one you can get to terribly often, is it? There's not a lot there. Marylebone to Oxford we did earlier, so that can be seen in the video of this that will go out at some point after I finish. Euston to Tring I could do, but I prefer doing a company where I can do all of it at once, and I can only get as far as Tring at the moment. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'd have to signal them up to Liverpool to do all of London Northwestern. East Coast Main Line, track-wise, we got up to Morpeth today from London. Signalling wise, Peterborough. That's it. I've got Thameslink in. Benefits, not necessarily. Sometimes I'm in the mood to signal, sometimes I'm in the mood to lay track. It kind of it just depends on what my mood is. So I'm not typically in the mood to do one or the other, to do both at the same time. It's one or the other. So I might be able to sit down and play for 2 hours building track, or sit down and play for 2 hours placing signals. I can't do both typically. Therefore, I build track, then place signals, then do routes. I prefer to do all of the routes for a company at once, or most of the routes for a company at once. So I need to have all the signals in place to do that. So I need to have all the track in place to do that. That's just the way I work. Well, I understand everyone's a bit different with that. Also, when single track was added, because originally in the original version of NIMBY Rails, all tracks were double track, I had to restart my save, in effect, to get the track to work properly. While there was a conversion system in place, it didn't really play nice with how I'd had to make do with some junctions. So I just decided to start again, which meant that I rushed through building a lot of the track I'd already built off camera, so I didn't have to recap. But the signal's got a lot left behind. And I'm only starting to catch up now. Left platform from Stratford, yeah, that's what I did. West Coast Mainland Services today. I've only got the signals up to Tring, so yeah, as I've said, I might do Euston to Tring, and I think there's a shorter one, but I'm not sure I want to signal more. It's already 8:20. It's the 67s that did Norwich. It's not the 67s that did Norwich, surely. Great Northern's done, I think. Well, he says that very confidently and then realises that maybe it's not. It's not done. I thought I'd done it. It's not done. I think the signals are in. I just haven't got round to it. The signals are definitely in at Hertford North. They will do when I build them. They will terminate correctly. Turns out I haven't done them yet. I thought I had. I don't do favourites typically. I don't particularly have favourites. Mainly because my favourite would typically be my local, and I don't want to give that information away on the internet. So, yeah, there's that. 165's to Stratford. Yeah, no. If you some 168s, Stratford, you get some 168s. That's awkward. You're also going to get a very long dwell time at Stratford. might be as much as 1 hour 20. Not that long. 1 hour, or maybe 50 minutes. That works. Cool. So I'll need 3 trains for that. So we'll have some longer ones. There we go. Lines full. New Turbo Star Pack mod? Yes, I do. I'm not sure how many of my trains actually use it because I only got it recently and some of my routes are already set up. So there's a bit of a mishmash of what's going on at the moment. I don't typically remove mods because the chance of me actually getting every train removed before I remove the mod is so slim that it'll just break the game. Total playtime in NIMBY Rails. I've been playing for, well, I think I've got like 500 hours clocked up in the game. This save is not all of that. I had to start this save after I probably had almost 100 hours before I started this save. The first 100 hours included, I originally had money active, so I had to leave it running overnight a couple of times to try and save money. I then decided to go unlimited, so I had to rebuild what I'd done. And then when 1.2 came out with the single tracks, I had to start again to get the single tracks to work. So this save has probably had 300 hours on it, I'd say. Maybe 400. Electrostars, I might have them. It's always a mystery. I've got a lot of Electrostars, given I've got two varieties of the 377 and of the 375. I'd say probably. Class 484, is that in? Is there a mod for that yet? I've got the 230. I do have the 484, in which case I would say I probably have got it. Let me have a look. Oh, sure, just run away from me, train. What are you? What are you? Tell me. You are a 484. Yes, they are 484s. That's a rarity, actually. Typically, if I've had to update a train, I have not got round to it yet. So I know Southwestern Railway is still operating Southern livery 455s, because originally that was the only livery. I haven't got round to changing them yet. That'll be the case in a lot of places. Trains operating is the wrong thing because I just didn't have the right mod at the time. What is going on here? Right. Yeah, I mean, that would be an issue. So what I'm seeing is this signal needs to move. There. Yeah, now there's a crash. Yeah, shock horror. Reset. Let some trains through there. And then this queue should start easing out. I mean, that won't work either, actually. That signal is just going to have to go. Yeah, it's the wrong way around anyway. Pre-reaching lines? No, I'm not bothering with those. I am intending to do heritage railways. Yeah, there was originally a thought to do pre-reaching lines and just any disused line. I decided against that. My current thinking is if the game still runs, which is not a given, I will move into Europe because I want to get Eurostar in properly and everything. So I have to do France and Germany for that. Netherlands. I've also had people ask me to do parts of America. My problem is resources to find out where the tracks actually are. Open Railway Map does cover the entire world, but stuff like Traxi is only the UK, and I don't know what the resources are for other countries. That's right. Sorry, I had one Chiltern service left to do, and I want to get that in before I forget. Chiltern. Near Bicester, was it just the leftover of the problem at Princess Risborough? I think it was. This this bit of track is a MOD Ministry of Defence base. No passenger services operate over it, but it's there. Leamington Spa, I'm going to guess is LMS to BMO. I might start this out of BMO, out of Moore Street, actually, and then go down to Leamington Spa. You might get a dedicated platform at Moore Street if you're lucky. Do West Midlands terminate anything there at the moment? They did at one point. Do they still? West Midlands Railway Services, New Street, International, New Street, Wolverhampton. Yeah, you get your own platform. Cool. West Midlands do not terminate anything at Moore Street currently, or not regularly. There might be like the one-off termination there. Every 2 hours. Did I set the A? Why is that lowercase? be, what were the other two hourly services? It was Banbury and it was Stratford. Yes, I said them both right. Is Banbury definitely BAN? Yes, it is. Okay, I've arbitrarily assigned Bank BAN on the DLR, and clearly that was a bad choice. That was not an option to go for. London Museum of Water and Steam, no. Heritage and any sort of like museum, railway and stuff like that, while there's an intention to do it, it's not done yet. 10 billion in the bank is impressive in this game. I imagine that was a lot of knights leaving the game running. Right, what was I saying? Up Mall Street to Leamington Spa. Up to Mall Street. So Birmingham is now connected to the rest of my network down in the south. But only via Chiltern. So Solihull Dorridge. Oh, I'm going to have to make sure it uses the right route through Thameslink because it won't if I don't. Solihull. 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 There we go. Solihull. Dorridge. And then Lapworth, Hatton, Warwick. Run through those platforms. Skip Warwick Parkway. Bit of a weird station, Warwick Parkway, because it gets 2 services an hour and one of them doesn't stop at Warwick. Into Leamington. Yeah, I thought I had looked up Ban. So Ban is used for 2 different stations. Great. The DLR and London Underground and TfL in general just love using station codes that already exist for their stations. What was I doing? 168. We'll use 3 car units. I probably only need 1, honestly. Oh no, I need 2. I just need 2. It's just over an hour in each direction. With an hour dwell at each end. There we go. Full. Liverpool Lime Street. You can. There's not a lot to it currently. It's just track. That's actually hill. Liverpool Lime Street. It's just track in a fan. Some crossovers in a tunnel. Platform 1 goes incredibly far away from everything else for an awful long time. But yeah, that's all there is to it. There's not a lot going on. So, Chiltern's done. What are the plans? It is 8:30. Okay. Let me have a look at West Midlands and see what their services are now on the West Coast. So there's Tring and Milton Keynes. And I could do Watford Junction to St Albans Abbey. Will you be able to download this map? If that is a thing added to the Steam Workshop, I do want to upload it when I'm done. I do not want to host it myself, so it will only be if I can do it over the workshop, which currently I don't believe is possible. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Okay, so my plan is I signalled as far as Tring. If I signal up to Milton Keynes, I can get the Tring and Milton Keynes services in. I can get the St Albans Abbey service, and I can get the Bletchley to Bedford service. I'm going to ignore that Bletchley to Bedford runs half as a bus, and I'm going to ignore that St Albans Abbey runs completely as a bus, and just run them as trains. Right, is this Tring? Yes, so that's where I got to. My main issue with the West Coast Main Line is the sheer number of crossovers there are along it that I have to signal. If I just had to signal the stations that have bay platforms, it would be fine. Oh look, it's a crossover. Oh look, that arrow's the wrong way. Flip. There we go. Luckily, I am in a kind of signalling mood today. I did do some signalling earlier. The routing was fun as well, but it's why the track building was quite short-lived. I was not in the mood to build track. If I'd recorded a video, who knows what you'd have got. Not as much, that's for certain. So, put in the releases, and then just set these to all direct, always words. Don't want trains going through them the wrong way. And then we also get some arrows in at the other end and in the middle, because that will work. Right, continuing on. Yeah, I'm not going to be even if exporting is added to the workshop, I won't be exporting it until I've finished with it, whenever that may be. So it's going to be a while yet. I mean, there's still several months worth of the UK to do. It's another crossover. Only one way this time though, so makes it a little simpler, I guess. Signal, signal. They didn't stop halfway. This would be so much easier. They just crossed straight the way over. There and there. Because otherwise, when they stop halfway, I have to set all of these so they don't go through it the wrong way. It's very problematic. Right, and here we are at Bletchley, which is good. So we're already almost at Milton Keynes. Bletchley's a mess. Has my executive opinion. That can come through like that. Those tracks are all bi-directional. So that's fun. Bi-direction up there. What I will do is put on some arrows here, just to remind myself. This needs arrows off the bridge, and I'll put some over there as well. And some more arrows there. What I've learned today is you can never have too many arrows. Okay. When will the game start to slow down? So, already, London is quite laggy. I have to slow the game down when I'm working around London, and I have to stay quite zoomed in so there's not too much rendered. I know from experience that when I get more of the UK set up, it gets quite laggy, because I had that originally. So they could start to slow down anytime, but yeah, it is only a matter of time. It will happen. I don't honestly know how much of Europe I'll manage to do. The thing is, the game does get optimized over time, so it does get more stable. Oh, that wants to be a platform I can turn around in. Well, I guess it can be if it wants to be. It cannot have that, and it can have a signal there instead. We'll need a signal there, and that one will be only the same direction. And then there's an arrow up here that satisfies that. As we come along here, once again, I'm going to add some arrows. Arrows are important. You can already kind of make island platforms in that a station has the same amount of space on both sides, so you just move the tracks further apart. Like, I don't know, I typically do that. There you go, there's an island platform. It's close enough. Yeah, it's not perfect, but when the platform isn't really perfect in the first place, there's nothing wrong with it. Polices. That, like that. These like so. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with some of this. Basically, these tracks are meant to be all bidirectional, but I've not set up the junction over here to allow for it. I guess if I were to just do this, I can see I set this junction up slightly wrong. I may have driven this route in Train Simulator earlier. And it routed me through the yard for some reason, and I now know how this junction is, how this area is set up. But I've done it wrong. So I will just put a couple of signals in. Police there. That signal can be always, and I'll put that one as always just for the sake of it. Shadwell is an island platform. You're not wrong. I've clicked the wrong button. Yeah, that's the specific direction line up over onto the bridge, which needs some signalling here by the looks of it. Just in case East-West Rail opens in the time that I'm building this map, which is unlikely. Set that to always. And our favourite friend, the arrows. I'm not sure I'm going to signal this. What I might say is, I don't know if that's going to be possible yet. I'm going to have to go and look at the junction at the other end. Hopefully I can do that and have one track for each direction. Signals out the sidings, always important. Signals out the sidings at the other end. Not as important. Not there. In the sidings, please. There we go. New Street, yeah, we'll go up there in a second. That is signalled, but the line out is only signalled as far as Marston Green, is it? Something like that. It's called something like that. That's almost right. I've not got it set up in a way that allows for this. Oh, no, it is. Perfect. Okay, so what we have is one way there. Effectively, that will be one way. And this will still be one way. But then that will be, they'll both be bidirectional from that point on. Cool. I've worked it out. So, we want a signal there. The signal there is already a fixed one. And then we want a police after that. It comes around here. Cool. That's the last signalling I can really do before Fenny Stratford. I'll just run along the branch quickly. Have a set of signals there. Basically, I don't think the branch will take too long to do. So I'm going to run up here before I go to Bletchley. Not Bletchley, Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes is a little more complicated. I had not realised as much of this was double track as it is. I've forgotten all of this was double track. I think it's because it gets such a well, I say such an infrequent service, it gets an hourly service. I think of it as being a lot for single track, when in reality it's not. What was I doing here? Why did I do so many sidings? This is actually how it is in real life. There are actually this many sidings that come down into a single track. And literally have no crossover to the other line, so you can only get in and out in that direction. Like, you can get in from here, and you can get out over there. But you can't go the other way. Double track round. I get the feeling I've probably set up this end. Yes, I have. Good. Cool. That's that line done. To Milton Keynes then. And then we'll go check out New Street quickly before setting up the services. Oh, it's a thing. That was descriptive. It's a crossover. There we go. There's the word. The word does exist. The word is crossover. It would not make a good Wordle being 9 letters long as it is. But it is the word I was thinking of all the same. What happens here? Oh yeah, okay, I understand. So, what we have is up, up, down. Scratch that. Down, down, up. I know it's deceptive. Up is towards London. Therefore, up is south. And therefore, up is down. That's a down. That's an up. The other two are bidirectional because they're used for terminating. Yes, curved stations are coming in 1.4. We were discussing that earlier. There was a brief discussion that potentially I should have been able to get 1.4. We determined that I cannot because it is not available yet. I have decided I'm probably not going to go back and change stations I've already built because that's a lot of effort when I want to get on with building more of the route. So curved stations will be used when I get them for new stations I build, but probably not for old ones. I'll have a signal there, we'll have a signal there, and there, and there. That one will, in fact most of these will end up with fixed direction on them. So this is the approach on the slow lines. So it can get in to a lot of places that I'm not sure it should be able to. Why can it cross over like that? Okay, what I'm going to do is say that crossover can't be used because I don't think it needs to be. Of course, the signal ignores that, but who cares? So we come up here and we can get into the down platform and the two bidirectionals. Well, the bidirectional and the bay. We can come out of the up platform onto the up line, and apparently, yeah, through the no entry signal. We don't have a release. That can go there. Cool. Then we can also get out of, say, the bidirectional platform onto both up lines, which means I need a release on the up fast. There we go. That should be sorted. I now have to quickly set up the other end because of the bidirectional track braking stuff. So is this... Okay. I think I understand. This line is a bidirectional. I think it's typically used for up services, but strictly speaking, it's a bidirectional line. So I'll just put in some releases quickly to account for that. Then up here we have up, down, up, down. Other way around, down, up, down, up. London Underground track mod, yeah, I've seen it. I have not bothered getting it. I've not seen the need typically for track mods. There are occasions where I think they are useful. Ferries, for example. I recently did get the pedestrian path mod, which, given that stations have to be at least 60 metres, is problematic to use, but can be useful. I used it to link New Street to Grand Central, for example. We'll see that in a minute. Grand Central being the tram stop. But typically, I'm not a... I don't see the need for different tracks. Like I exclusively use high-speed track when building, unless it's a tram, in which case I use tram track. I have never used the medium speed track. I used the cable for the cable car in London. I used the pedestrian path, and I've used the sea route markers. But that's it. I've not seen the need for any other tracks. I think all the signals there are set up. In which case we're done. Let's look at New Street quickly. So, 12 platforms, signalled. Potentially A and B ends can both be used because I've got some signals in the middle. We'll see how that works out. There's a little pedestrian path to Grand Central. Double slips are awkward to make in NIMBY Rails, but I've tried. That is way more severe than it is in real life, but that's the nature of having the station be straight. That said, that's pretty realistic. It does follow pretty much that line. And platform 1 is, well, platforms 1 through 4, 5 are pretty straight platforms, all things considered. They taper a bit at the ends, but they're straight through the middle. So yeah, there's New Street. Now, the other thing I was going to do was set up some London Northwestern services. So I'm going to hazard a guess I don't have a colour for that. I probably want a dark green, a deep bottle green, I think is what I want to go for. Sort of like that, maybe. I can always change it. We'll go with that for now, and we'll see what it looks like once it's actually on the map. So, London Northwestern. Yeah, the track mods is just... It's a nice concept, and I think had I had it to begin with, maybe, but I didn't feel the need to go back and change stuff, and therefore I didn't feel the need to install any. Also, if you were building if you're just doing a city, and you had a lot of different systems, like main rail network, a metro, a cable car, a tram, all in one city, and you were just doing that city, then maybe. I guess if the track mods help you with buses, if you wanted to do buses, and they help with ferries if you want to do ferries. I have got some ferries, to be fair. I've got the ferries across to the Isle of Wight, and I intend, when I do Isle of Man and Ireland, to connect those up with ferries appropriately. I can also connect across to Calais from Dover, if need be. So there is options for it, but for just general track, I don't see the need to change the type of track that the trains drive on. I'm not happy with that green. That might be a better green. I'm still not happy with that green. We'll have to see. Euston to Tring. Now the problem with this is Euston just confuses me. I'm not sure I've got the signalling completely in a working state yet, for a start. How many trains have we got coming out of Euston at the moment? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Avanti operate 4 currently. London Overground get 2 platforms to themselves. There's like 16 platforms. Yeah, I've got more than enough platforms. They can have their own platform each. Never going to fill Euston up. Maybe if Avanti start operating more than 4 services, but so I know 8 and 9. Is 8 and 9 are overground? It's around that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That must be around 8 and 9. I'll put the Trings in 7, sure. That'll do for now. Avanti get the extremities, I know that much. So, Wembley Central gets a limited service, 2 trains a day. Yep, in which case... Except on Saturdays when it's served hourly. Yeah, it's not going to get a service. London Overground will service it. Guess I could do London Overground, actually, to... no. Watford Junction. That's going to be a problematic one, because Watford Junction has 4 platforms for the Overground, and in reality it's 1 route. I might put it as 2 routes, so I can use both platforms at Euston and 2 of the platforms at Watford. Run them as half-hourly services. Where was I going? Harrow and Willstone. That is here. That's not terrible green. Now I've got some down, though, I can sort of adjust it appropriately. Maybe more like that. That might be a better green. Are you using the slow lines? Yeah, what you're not doing is using the right line. Okay then, back here. You're on the slow lines. On the slow lines. On the slow lines. Yeah, okay. Slow lines through there. Through there. And then at some point we'll reach the point where it's not practical to expect it to do anything, and it does weird stuff like that, and we have to just ignore it. Yeah, cool. After Harrow and Willstone, I'll fix the bit through Wembley Depot at some point in a minute, but I need to get it a bit further out first so that I know it's not because it can't switch line, although it doesn't look like that's the case anyway. Bushy, Watford Junction. Kings Langley. Up here under the M25. Great place for a station. You'd love to be waiting for a train there, wouldn't you? Apsley. Hemel Hempstead and Berkhamsted. So, Berkhamsted, and then final stop is Tring in the Bay platform. Well, not the Bay platform, the bi-directional middle platform. Right, back down here. What were you doing at Wembley? Not what you're meant to be doing. Okay. On the approach to Harrow and Willstone, can you go along that line? And on the way back to Euston, perhaps you could do me the decency of using that line. There we go. Now you're on the right track there. Doesn't stick around though, does it? Or does it? No, that might be right. Yeah, that is right. There's just a confusing amount of tracks. Oh, no. I spoke too soon. Hello? Yeah, what you've not done is followed that waypoint. Okay. There we go. The waypoints are a bit iffy because they don't actually pull the route to where they show they do. Manchester Victoria, we'll go have a look in a minute. Again, it's just going to be some track. There's no signals, there's no trains. But we can go have a look at it in a second. Okay, that seems to all be working now then. There goes the underground. Right, trains. Does run 319s. Do I even have a 319? I do. I even have different liveries for it. That looks like it might be a London Northwestern livery. Cool, you can have one of those. You only get one. Then you can get some 350s. Actually, I need to see. Make sure I've got a good dwell first. What would a 20-minute dwell do? Ah, that's problematic. Okay, what would a 10-minute dwell do? 10-minute dwell at either end? It's half-hourly service, so a 10-minute dwell at either end feels reasonable. So I need 0:30, 1:30. I need 4 trains. I've got 1. Maybe we'll have a second of those then. Given this is the only route that operates them. Then we will have some 350s. I don't care what variation. I just need 2 of them. 8 cars. They're probably 8 cars operating to Tring. I don't know. They should be. Honestly, all of London Northwestern should be 8 cars, and it probably isn't. How's Chiltern do? It's still got a queue. Yeah, it'll fix itself eventually. It would be helpful if it told me what platform it was waiting for. The question is, if I just reset it, will it automatically... Well, the train behind it had an empty platform to get to, so that's something. What do you reckon you're waiting for? Well, I guess if it's stuck there, it's waiting for a platform that's currently occupied, but the train behind it might be able to get in. That's the thinking. Oh, yeah, there's quite a few stuck there then. What are you waiting for? I mean, there's no way to tell without going in to see what the line is. He can get in somewhere. No, the 165's waiting, which should be going into these last platforms. So I'm guessing, based on that, that they're all waiting. I mean, there's 5 trains in there now. Realistically, Chiltern actually does an awful lot of platform sharing, which shouldn't be required for its routes, but there you have it. What is... Oh, slow progression through Gerald's Cross. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, what's happened here? Am I to guess something's broken? Oh, I am. Oh, great. This single track line. NIMBY Rails doesn't agree with this, is what I'm seeing. So what I'm going to do is a non-prototypical... Ooh, don't be that. Don't be a C marker. Yeah, I'm going to add a non-prototypical loop in up here. We'll have a signal out of there and a balise there. And down this end a signal to balise. Make it a one-way loop. Set the signals to always. Delete that train. Hi train. Would you like to not exist? Yeah. I think that's the best way to do it, because then there's at least a loop so they can pass. Because the problem is where they're getting stuck. So, where is the... Are there no balises? Can that not be a balise? Yeah, it's because they're all queuing up for this line. Up through here, and then they have to wait at this loop. I mean, that one's going to be waiting for... You know what? It's not worth waiting, is it? Because you're going to have to wait for this train to get all the way up to Aylesbury, and then this train to get all the way back down again. TP services eventually, not today. I don't have any of the signaling set up for that. And I'm getting quite hungry. So we were going to look at Manchester Victoria. That was a thing. Manchester Victoria. There's like nothing to it. I don't like. What? Is this gaining you something? I'm genuinely intrigued. Does it gain you anything to see it? I haven't done Manchester Metrolink yet. Probably wouldn't be a difficult one to set up. I've done a lot of the tram networks. Okay, back to London Northwestern. I was going to do the service to Milton Keynes. So that'll be Euston to MKC. And then the 2 branches. And then we'll stop, I think. So, 1 minute dwell. This runs hourly. Hourly it runs. Out of Euston. I'm going to run it out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Birmingham services typically use 12. I'm going to run it out of 11. I'll leave 8, 9, and 10 because I don't know which 2 are the overground platforms, and it's somewhere in that region. So for now, I'll leave them. Yes, I'm gonna do all the services in the end. I just like it's just gonna take time. Eventually, I will get every service done. Watford Junction. I'm assuming it's going to run up the slow lines. Hemel Hempstead. Berkhamsted. Tring. Ah, you see what I've done there is I've put them the wrong way around. At least I caught it. Presumably it stops at... Oh no, this only does Tring London bound. Okay then. Cheddington. One of the other services must do Tring. Oh yeah. Euston to Northampton, 1 an hour does Tring. Northbound. So that was Cheddington. I lost track quickly there. Leighton Buzzard. Leighton Buzzard is here. Cool. Get that in. Bletchley. Has to guess it probably stops at Bletchley. And Milton Keynes. I know it goes in that platform because the other one is used by Southern, and I don't have Southern in yet. I can put Southern in. I could put the last Southern service in. I've got all the signals in for that now. I could do it. We shall see. Hang on a second. Are you set to full? Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Where's LNW? You can have some 350s. This is hourly. You're going to need, like, I don't know, you can have as long as you want to Milton Keynes, really. You'd be there however long you want. Maybe have 40 minutes, if it was reasonable. Try and minimise time at Euston in case I need to platform share. 0, 1, so that'll be 4 trains. I've got 2. Let's have 2 4-car as well. Full. New service. Paste. LNW. No. We're done with Euston for today. Watford Junction to St Albans Abbey. 10. 0.05. 1 minute dwells. And not hourly. 4/3 of a train an hour. It's every 45 minutes. It's a really awkward service frequency. We come out of this platform, Watford North. Oh, I mean, realistically, it's not a long line, and it's not like I'm going to accidentally hit the wrong platform letter from zoomed out. So there we go, Garston. This is apparently on with 350s now. This definitely used to be 319s. 350s, and I almost guarantee you it's a single 4-car unit. Because none of those platforms are for longer than 4 cars. How long can I give you at St Albans to sort of balance out the dwell at either end? That'll balance it pretty well. Full. 7-minute dwell at either end, does a 45-minute round trip. Yeah, so it's with no dwell at either end, it's a 33-minute round trip. You can't quite make it twice an hour. So they've chosen, because it's completely off, disconnected from the network, not to bother with a clock face timetable and do it every 45 minutes. Lines. Let's add the Bletchley to Bedford line. That does require me to know what the 3-letter code for Bletchley is. BCH. Pretty sure Bedford's BD, but it could be BDF. Bletchley is BLY. Bedford is BDM. Okay, yeah, forgot that. Got both of those wrong then. It's fine. It's not an issue. This is 1 train an hour and operates every, well, no, minimum stop time of a minute. Apply, Bletchley, up here somewhere. I'm going to run it out of platform 5 because that's the one with step-free access. So it seems this entire line is double track except for the approach to the major town at both ends, which is single track. And so the final station is single track, 1 platform. A lot of these stations I've built across the roads because they're technically staggered platforms. So you cross the level crossing before you stop at the platform, so the crossing can go up behind you. I can be bothered to build the staggered platforms, so I just build it straddling the road because it doesn't affect gameplay at all. Kempston Hardwick. Bedford St John's. And Bedford. And then we need the Class 230s. I'm going to suggest, I've not seen a 3-car 230 actually operate. So, I think they probably run 2. Yeah, they'd have to. There is no way you can run that as 1 service. Of 8 minutes either end, maybe? And then full. Right, Southern. Let's get that done. Copy the colour. Southern. Clapham Junction to Milton Keynes Central, because that's what it operates at the moment. Doesn't go further south. Minute, and it's an hourly service. Problem is, I'm going to have to go and look this up now because I am not confident on the stopping pattern. Turns out it's proven slightly harder to find the page on Wikipedia than I anticipated. Okay, where am I looking? Milton Keynes Central to Clapham Junction. Okay, I'm going backwards then. Great. I'd rather start at Clapham Junction though. Well, I mean, that's certainly interesting, isn't it? How's that come about? I'm really struggling that much for platform access. How long has it been since I've checked on Southern? How have you ended up queuing for platforms quite so badly? They look like they're all feeding through pretty well now, so. I mean, yeah, a train stop, but practically every platform's now full. There is a long throat where there's no signals, so trains end up waiting a while for other trains to clear the junctions. Are you able to move yet? I know I had to do an awful lot of platform sharing with Southern, but they do seem to be making a bit of a move to clear out now. That was unexpected. Anyway, back to Clapham Junction. There we go. Imperial Wharf. Not that platform. Still not that platform. Hey. Here's the platform we want. West Brompton. Kensington Olympia. I'm pretty confident on that much of the service. Yeah, as with every other company, I will do Transport for Wales eventually. Monkey Harris. When it's signalled. Shepherd's Bush, Wembley Central, Harrow and Wealdstone. Shepherd's Bush. Wembley Central. That'll be interesting to make sure it uses the right track. Actually, I forgot. I haven't made sure the Milton Keynes one uses the right track. That would be a good one to do. Basically, because I've just seen it doesn't use the right track. Watford Junction, Hemel Hempstead. Not Bushy. Watford Junction. Hemel Hempstead. Berkhamsted Tring. This is such a weird service. Why does Southern operate so far north? Leighton Buzzard. Bletchley. Milton Keynes. There we go. No, we're not signaling to Northampton today because I need to eat at some point. And that is too much effort. Let's buy a train for that quickly. So that'll be a 377. Do we know the designation of 377 for... That looks like the new one. They all look like they've got a pantograph fitted, but that's just because of the way the models work in this game. They run as an 8 car typically on this line. So I'll just go with a 4+4, that'll do, won't it? Oh, there's the decal that doesn't have the pantograph. Cool, I do need a pantograph, so I'll use the one that does have one. Probably need a couple of these. Milton Keynes, we can stop for... I mean, really, it's the only train using this platform. I know the turnaround at Clapham Junction is like less than 5 minutes, but I prefer a longer turnaround. So 4 trains, so I need another 2. 50 turnaround at one end and a 30 turnaround at the other. That seems reasonable. Full. Now, That London Northwestern service that is currently broken. Where are you? Euston to Milton Keynes. It'll be on your way back down from Euston. You complain quite significantly. Okay, I know why this is. It's because you're going through the wrong platforms of Watford Junction. Go through that one, the other way. Go through that one instead of C. Now you're happier there. As we come down, you stay on that line, stay on there, stay on there, all the way. I don't have all evening game. I practically guarantee you something is broken, but I couldn't tell you what. Well, I could actually, I know it. If it is broken, it's going to be into the depot here. No, it appears to have actually got it right. I'm somewhat amazed, because the other one didn't. But there you go, maybe it's learnt its lesson. And it should probably have followed pretty much exactly as long as it can. It's still on the slows. Oh, it has gone bi-directional there. I mean, technically my signalling allows it. The problem is, technically these tracks up to that point are all bi-directional. And so this is the last signal for the fast lines. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes in terms of capacity, but it seems to be working. I'll just speed it up a bit to let the trains bed in a bit more. See if we can sort out the sort of delays we had up at Princess Risborough that were going on. Yeah. So they should... That southern service should clear out quite helpfully. Luckily, because the southern service is right in front of the London Northwestern, which isn't ideal, but southern is actually faster along that stretch than that particular London Northwestern services. Also, the London Northwestern ended up waiting for its mate, in effect, which is an intriguing one. It means they're being dispatched in the wrong order, in the wrong time frames. How frequently am I saying to dispatch a Milton Keynes service? Every hour. How long is their dwell up at Milton Keynes? Only 40 minutes. Yeah, they're both off. There we go. So they both have about the same dwell there, which isn't great. I think what you had a 50-minute. Actually, no. This one has a 50-minute. That one only has a 40 minutes. So if they get to depart after their dwell time, they don't space there. So I dodged answering earlier. I don't really have favourites, and if I did, I can't answer because I'm trying to keep that. It would be my local ones, and I'm trying to keep that off the internet. I'm not setting up the Watford DC line because that is another 2 lines, and I've been streaming for 3 hours, and I want to eat. So everything looks like it's bedded in reasonably well. Chiltern is sorting itself out. There's still a bit of a queue, but that will diminish. If I were to say nick that train, reset, I might go into a platform. No, well, I guess no, of course not, because it's waiting for a platform. Then that meant I could get another 2 trains in. There we go. Yeah, I mean, that's That's a short-term mess. That shouldn't stick around. It should bed out at some point. He says. We'll see. I might have to intervene with that. How's Victoria going? Clearing out. There's only 3 left now. So that should be gone soon. Anyone waiting to go up to Milton Keynes? Not clear, because that is a mess. I mean, it is like 5 AM, so I wouldn't be surprised if no one's waiting. There's one person on the train. One person wants to go to Harrow and Wealdstone. I didn't want to use the much more frequent London Overground that included a change. Or even SWR to Waterloo and then the Bakerloo line. I guess the Bakerloo line is a bit stopping, isn't it? Well, I think I'm going to leave it there then. I'm going to wrap this up. So, thanks for joining me for this stream that I only decided to do this time yesterday. It's been good. We got quite a bit set up at the end. Got a bit of line built up at Newcastle. Got signals done on a bit of the West Coast Main Line. Got some trains in on there, and we got all of Chiltern in, so that's good. Chiltern has managed to end up in a situation where there are no trains between Bicester and Leamington, but that's fine. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time when I find out how to stop.